Okay, I think it's working. Hi. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 22 things I've learned in 22 years. So, the first thing I want to say is focusing on your well-being is the most important thing. The reason I keep looking down is because I wrote down my notes. I never used to really do self-care or, things that would benefit you in the long run, like shadow work, meditation, exercise, eating well, any of that stuff. Focusing on your well-being, your mental well-being too, is important. A lot of people just sort of go through life focusing on work, school, friends, relationships, and not really focusing on themselves. And I think that focusing on yourself should come before anything else, especially in this day and age, in the time that we're living right now in 2020 and 2021. We should really focus on ourselves, how we're doing, our health, all of that. And to add to that point, I want to say number 2 is school burnout is real and it kills creativity. I spent a lot of my life in school, of course, since I was 5. That's when kids start kindergarten. And then I graduated last year when I was 20 from university with a bachelor's of English, with a bachelor's in English, bachelor's of arts in English. And I realized after, because I took a sort of gap year thing to focus on myself and to figure out exactly what I want to do in the future. It's gonna take a while, I guess, to figure that out, but at least I'm doing something now. But I realized that when I was very little, I was a kid, I was very creative. I would paint every day. I would read a lot. I read 3 books a day one time. I was very proud of myself. But yeah, I used to also write a lot, which has always been my dream, to be a writer, which is why I went to school for English. But I wrote when I was 12, 13. That was the time that I was the most into writing. But after that was when I pretty much got into middle school and high school. And that's when burnout happened. Not burnout, but not at that point. That was later. But I just didn't have any energy to put into my actual creativity, anything that would benefit me, because I was putting everything I had towards school. And I want to tell the kids that are out there that are in school right now, I guess, to sort of reevaluate that. But school is important. Do good in school, but do your best, I guess. But it's not the most important thing in life. Just like work isn't gonna be the most important thing for adults, but school just takes up too much space, I think. Especially in my life, it took a lot of space. I was stressed every single day. I'm 22, I graduated early, and I'm always considering going back to school, but it's so stressful that I don't know if I want to put myself in that situation again, because it's so harmful to my mental health, sort of. But maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I'll get better at handling my stress and anxiety and I'll be able to go back. I don't know. Because I actually love learning. I love, not school, but I love learning. I love getting better at things. I love exploring things that I'm passionate about. So if I were to go back, I'd probably go for anthropology, art history, any kind of art design, or maybe continue going with English or any other language. I did French for a while. I know Spanish. I would love to learn Korean. I would go for any of those things. but that would be in the future when I would be better equipped to handle the stress of school. And I am very grateful to have that opportunity to have this time to sort of think about it and have that choice of whether I want to go back or, you know, I have the time and the choice. So, number 3, it's okay to say no to anything. Anything that doesn't align with you, with what you want to do or be, or if you don't have the energy at one point to do anything, you can say no. You can take a break, you can come back to it later, or you can never come back to it. It's fine. It's okay to not want to prioritize your health, your mental stability, and just if it makes you feel better, don't do it. It applies to everything. And I think that's a really important lesson for young people to know, that it's okay to put up a boundary and say no. Yeah. Drink water. That's also a lesson. Number 4, drink water. Number 5, manifestation is real. I got a little but I had always had a lot of experiences where a lot of weird things would sort of happen and I didn't know why. Like, I would be talking to my brother about a show that we used to watch when we were little, and then suddenly out of nowhere it pops up, right? It would be on a TV screen in IKEA or something. It would be so random out of nowhere. And I never understood why. I would take it as usually a coincidence when I was little, but now I know it's manifestation. I used to think in more terms of the law of attraction, which is the most popular way to manifest in these days. But now that I started looking more into different ideas, I decided the law of assumption works so much better. The law of assumption is so easy and so, not easy, I guess. Once you get into it, once you fully immerse yourself into that, it's easier than the law of attraction, because the law of attraction requires you to do all these techniques. With manifestation, you don't have to do one specific thing to get what you want. And then that leads me to number 6. I almost put 7. 6. Magic is also real. Just not like how you see it in the movies. When you think of a witch, right? You think of the Wizard of Oz. She's green, she melts in water, she's evil. That's usually what you think of witches, or the Blair Witch Project. Ridiculous stuff, basically. But I'm sure a lot of you have seen, if you're on TikTok or YouTube, that witches are a thing. I only started sort of getting into that when I was 19, I guess, maybe. I just want to say it's real. I have used it. My sister, she also does that. But yes, I use tarot cards. They're incredible. Every time I do a reading for someone, like a friend or family member, because I haven't actually done it for anyone I don't know, they always say how accurate it is, and they never really ask about stuff that I would know about, really. It's more really internal questions. Yeah, I just wanted to say that because when you're young, I wish I had known this when I was in middle school, high school, or a kid. Can you imagine just thinking I have the power to make anything I want happen? And just with my mindset and my beliefs, I can bring about my wildest dreams. Imagine if you had known that when you were younger, how many more things you could have accomplished. I think that's really cool and amazing, and that people are able to take control of their lives now. Yay. I think I talked about this in number 2, but 7 is that school is not as important as you think. It's very important. You should get good grades so that you can, succeed, get your high school diploma, at least. It'll bring a lot of good opportunities for you, but I think personally, this is for me personally, I put too much pressure on myself and it's turned me into a perfectionist, which is something I have to unlearn in my adult years because it's kind of harmful, you know, to focus so much on perfection rather than embracing the power of failure, because it's very powerful and a good tool to actually succeed in the future. Because if you're a perfectionist, you'll never really, I guess, start or be able to make those kinds of leaps of faith that are required to succeed, you know? So if you're too afraid of failure, then you'll never really try at what you want, which I'm doing right now. You see, I'm unlearning it. Anyway. Yeah, school is not as important as you think. It can be important for a lot of people, but it doesn't have to take over your entire life. You should still focus on your mental well-being, focus on, just having fun, being a kid, because once you're out of school, it's not, I don't know. I guess everyone tells you when you're young, like, enjoy your youth because when you're older, you're going to have responsibilities and it's not going to be as fun. But you never really think of that. You're like, no, I just want to be an adult. I just want to do whatever I want. I want to have my own money. I want to live alone. It's not like just a dumb adult thing that they're telling you. It's for real. Enjoy your youth because you'll never get it back. And like, I never really lived in the moment when I was young. So this wasn't something I really thought about. I was always thinking about just like the future, like what would happen, what was I gonna do, when would I finally get like successful, because my perfectionist brain kept me from actually doing anything I wanted. So, I'm a very creative person. I love to write, I love to draw, anything creative, I love it. And so I never really focused on that because I was so scared of what if I fail? What if I don't actually get what I want? What if I'm not actually good enough to do what I want to do? And I think that's a really harmful thing to think about because it's like a fixed mindset to have. If you know anything about like, I barely know anything about it, but it's like there's people with a growth mindset and people with fixed mindset. And usually more successful people have a growth mindset, that they think that like intelligence, talents, anything that you have is something that you can continue to grow, that you're not forever stuck in your intelligence level or your talent level. You can grow. And that's a very important thing to think about. Like, it really think about yourself and think like, do I have a fixed mindset? Do I think that if I'm not good at drawing now, then I can never be good at drawing? Like, that's not true, because you teach yourself or someone teaches you to draw and then you can get better, and if you practice you will get even better. Like, it's not you're good at drawing or you're not. It's you can become good at drawing if you try. And that applies to everything. Intelligence, your brain is constantly changing and growing and learning new things, and it can learn new things. And I think the whole idea of IQ has really turned people into like, I'm either smart or I'm dumb. And then it doesn't give you any ability to change or try to get good in something that you're actually passionate about. I think the idea of school and grades and just like moving up a level every single year has really turned our minds into like, if I'm not good at this quickly, then I'm not good. And that's not true. It takes time. Don't worry about it. Whatever you're dreaming about is meant for you. You can do it. You can do it. Number 8. It is okay to be yourself. I've grown up with people just constantly telling me like, if you're shy, you have to change. You have to become more confident. And it's like, as if I wasn't confident already in myself. don't have the energy to interact with people all the time. And sometimes I just don't feel comfortable with people, and so I'm more quiet. Those people just don't realize that I am the way that I am, and it's okay. Sometimes I do have to put myself out there, and that's, just something I have to deal with personally. But I don't think it's very supportive or nice to tell anyone, you gotta change. I've grown a lot in these last 3 years that I have been working on myself since I graduated high school. I've worked a lot on myself. And I just don't feel like I really need to change that. I am an introvert. I don't like going to parties. I don't like a lot of social situations. If I go out with someone, I need at least a week to recover. I just think that's just part of who I am. I don't have to change it. I just have to adapt with it. Of course, if I want to be able to have, friends, relationships, a social life, whatever. But that's my problem. And I don't need anyone coming to me like, you gotta change that, because that's just offensive and it feels like they just don't appreciate me the way that I am. And I guess that ties to my next point, number 9. Anxiety. My anxiety does not have to hold me back. And that's something I have not realized for a very long time. That I have allowed my emotions to sort of control my life. So I make pretty much every decision, or I have made every decision out of fear rather than like wanting to grow or have experiences or just be happy. It's all like, if I don't make this decision, then something bad will happen or something. Or like I'm just too anxious, so I make a certain decision. That just makes me think, that I don't want anxiety to hold me back anymore. I will try to make more decisions, not letting it take over me. That's my goal for my 22nd year. Number 10 is you don't need to have certain experiences to be valid in life. So, like, when I was younger in high school, I never went to like a high school party. I never drank. I never did any of that stereotypically high school thing that happens in like TV shows, movies. I guess that normal people go through. I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like you don't need to do things that you don't want to do in order to just be like, I had the experience. This is what I did. You don't have to have certain experiences in school and life in your youth to be valid. I don't know. And stuff like dating someone in high school. I didn't do that. I don't feel like I missed out on anything because I didn't really like anyone anyway. I feel like if I had actually dated someone at that age, it probably wouldn't have ended well anyway. I just feel like those kinds of experiences is overrated because you should do things in your life that you love and just go at your own pace. You don't have to. I think that is another point eventually. Oh, that's the next point. Takes me to number 11. Live life at your own pace. You don't have to have certain things accomplished by a certain age. Like, I'm 22. I graduated university, but a lot of my friends haven't. And a lot of my friends are in master's programs. A lot of my friends are in jobs. A lot of my friends... I don't have a lot of friends, so I don't have any more examples. But I want to spend my 20s enjoying my life. Maybe travel. Have a life before I have to settle down, which will probably be in my 30s. But even if I do have a plan like that, I don't feel like I need to stick to it, like rules. I have seen a lot of people complain about like feeling left behind in life because they don't have these certain experiences by a certain age. Probably because they see people around them that are the same age as them going through certain things that they are not going through, that they may want to. But I just feel like life should be lived. You go with the flow, sort of. You shouldn't force anything to happen. You shouldn't be constantly waiting for something to happen, because then it might not. And different things happen for different people at different times. Number 12, I have time. Just wanted to say that because once I turned 21, like once I graduated university and then I turned 21, I wanted to be able to achieve everything I wanted really early, really fast, like right when I wanted them. And it got me into this mindset like I have to do it now, otherwise I'll be a failure. Which isn't true. Because I have time. I am a very young adult. I am 22 years old. I haven't even been through half of my life. I don't know. Everyone I talk to that is my age is going through pretty much the same thing as me. Like, what do I do? I don't know what I'm going to do. We have to figure out what we want to do with our lives at this point because we're all graduating. So I just wanted to say that I learned recently, very recently, that I have time. And I don't have to have everything figured out right now. And I probably shouldn't. Remember, you have time. I have time. Number 13. Be your own best friend. And it's fine to have best friends. You know, we all have best friends. I have my mom, my brother, my best friend, my few other best friends that are like not as close as my best friend, but still I would consider them best friends to me. I would trust them with anything. It's so important for you to be your own best friend. And that has to do with like self-care, focusing on your own well-being, achieving your goals. Being your own best friend is the most important thing because you're able to just support yourself and feel comfortable just within yourself, so you don't feel like you need a certain other person to be able to give you any kind of validation or anything like that. It's always good to have other people to help you. That's very important, especially if you're struggling. But I feel like the most important thing, one of the most important things, because I keep saying that, is just learning to be happy, single, with no friends, you know, be happy just within myself, because not everyone is going to be around forever. You're not going to always be in a relationship. I used to think that like I had to be in a relationship to be validated, not outwardly, but inwardly, you know. I would always be like, why don't I have a boyfriend and everyone else does? But now I realize that's not important. Number 14. Shadow work is more important than you think. Stuff like shadow work, which is like, I guess to explain it, is to look at the toxic patterns in your life, self-sabotaging patterns in your life, your past experiences, just healing, basically deep healing, and just becoming a better person for yourself and for the people around you. And it is very important to do shadow work because you may not think that you have toxic patterns. You may think like, I'm good. I'm a nice person. I'm good. That's good enough, you know? But no. Everyone has a shadow side, and it's important for everyone to sort of, the whole point of shadow work is to integrate your shadow self with your just like higher self, I guess. And not be constantly pushing down your negative aspects. I put negative in quotation marks because technically it's not supposed to be negative. It's part of you. It's like yin and yang. You know, you're supposed to have a bit of darkness in you, and it's supposed to work together with your light. It's important to integrate it into yourself because then, and accept it, because then if you push it down, it will have worse effects on your life. So Look into shadow work. There's like meditations, EFT tapping, journaling. There's so many things, but it's very difficult because you have to face sort of the worst parts of yourself. Like how I found out that I was letting anxiety make the decisions for me rather than me making decisions for my anxiety. See, it can be very useful. 15. Meditation is very powerful. Even if you're not a spiritual person, meditation is so good for your mental health. If you don't believe me, look into any sort of study on meditation because it helps you literally change your brain and make it healthier, and you respond better to stress and anxiety. And you can even use meditation as a way to manifest, as a way to handle your stress and anxiety. Shadow work, connecting with ancestors. There's so many things you can do with meditation. It's so fun. Fun. I'm such a spirituality nerd that I called meditation fun. I love it. I know it's very boring for a lot of people, but here's the thing. Meditation is not only sitting in a room with strange music and just trying to get rid of your thoughts, you know? It's much more than that. You can draw and meditate. There's a lot of like drawing meditations. You can walk and meditate, just spend time in nature. There's so many ways that you can just meditate that isn't just you know? That's why I think a lot of people don't like meditation, because they don't realize that it's not just that. Number 16, exercise is good for your body, but way better for your mental health. And I speak from experience. When 2020 happened, I was going through a time because I had just had to move back from university back home because of everything that was happening. And it's like very stressful. It was very, very stressful I spent 6 months in my house. I didn't leave. I didn't step a foot out of my house for 6 months consecutively. And the first time I went out was for my birthday, and it was just my family. Like I didn't see people for so long. And so that causes a bit of a toll on your mental health. I'm sure a lot of people can relate, especially because it literally affected the entire planet. But the thing that really helped me stay like happy and it made me feel better was exercise. And I found a ton of at-home exercises on YouTube. They changed my life. Not even just like making me healthier, because I'd never exercised in my life. I never really focused on exercise. I didn't like it. I didn't find it fun. I once cried planking. It was a really big step for me. My mental health got so much better. I felt genuinely happy every single day. And even when like stressful stuff happened, it wasn't as bad as I used to be. So I think exercise coupled with meditation, because I was meditating at that time as well, is so good for your mental health. And it doesn't even have to be like crazy exercises. You can do like a 10-minute exercise every day. Nothing major. You can walk. That's all you gotta do. Find something you like. If you like dancing, dance. If you like hula hooping, hula hoop. If you like jump roping, do it. You know, there's so many things to do. And I think a lot of people think of exercise as like push-ups, lifting weights, crazy hard stuff that I don't like. 17. Perspective is important. When you're in a certain situation that makes you feel stressed or anxious, or if you're, mostly that, or frustrated, it's very important to take a look at the situation from a different perspective. Recently, I've been able to more like step into another person's shoes and see the situation from their side, which helps a lot with forgiveness, I guess, in your life, and dealing with, because you're always going to have fights with people, just dealing with understanding the other side, because there's always something to understand. Whether it's like they were too stressed, they were not in the right mindset, they felt that they were being attacked, or their ego was being attacked. That's possible too. That happens a lot. It's just seeing any kind of situation from a different perspective is very important, and I think it's a good skill to have. Yeah. And especially when I'm going through like an anxiety episode, it helps me to like look at it from outside my situation. So like if I was here looking at someone in my own situation, how would I see it differently than just me? Because I may be just projecting my own past experiences onto the situation and making it more difficult than it has to be. Number 18 is reading. Is a very good skill. I know I'm saying this as a writer and an avid reader. I'm reading currently like 3 books at once, hopefully more soon. I just love reading, and it can be anything, any kind of story, but I really like self-help, spiritual sort of books. I have a book over there. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. Very good book. I just read it recently. It just helps you sort of change your perspective on life and sort of let go of the past, let go of worrying about the future, and just stay present and work on creating a better future for yourself outside of the realm of like fear and worry and like, what if this doesn't work out, you know? It's more like, I'm going to create this for myself right now in my head, manifestation, and it will come to me because I created it, I made it, I chose to be in that experience. I just think those kinds of books are very important. I read so many books during this past year, a lot of self-help books. But I want to mention that self-help, I just saw 1111. Self-help is something that can easily be like a trap, sort of, because you'll be reading a book, you'll think, wow, this is the craziest thing I've ever read, this is amazing, this is going to change my life, and then you don't actually do anything that the book tells you to do, and then you just move on to the next self-help book. And someone has talked about this, let me look for it. The self-help, I think it's called The Toxic World of Self-Help by James Janney, I think. I'm pretty sure I watched that one. I have The Toxic World of Self-Help. I watched that video while I was in the middle of getting into self-help books, and I watched it and I was like, what? Like, no, this isn't true. But yes, once you get into self-help, it sort of feels like you're being productive when you're not really being productive. You sort of get into this cycle of like not actually taking the action to change your life, but you're just addicted to reading more about how to change your life instead of actually doing anything. And you just keep reading and consuming more books, and nothing ever works. So that's the trap. I think it's good to be aware of it. I don't know if it happens to everyone. It may happen to me. No, it doesn't. I actually, hopefully, apply these to my life. I try them at least, and if they don't work, oh my god, it fell. And if they don't work, then that's fine too. But yes, reading is still a very good skill. I think it could bring a lot of new ideas to your life. I say as a writer because I hope to bring new ideas to people's lives, whether it's fantasy, sci-fi, just regular everyday YA stuff, adult stuff, you know, anything that you like. I think it's just so good to read. And I'm pretty sad that I took a lot of time of my life just too stressed about school with no energy, not able to actually read as much as I wanted to. Number 19. I know making money is a lot of people's priority, but I want to say that following your passion, following your dreams, what makes you happy, at least as a hobby, is extremely important for your overall happiness in life. I know I'm still 22, very young, but I know that if let's say I got old and I never really did this or a lot of the things I'm hoping to do in the future in my life, I know I would feel very, not unaccomplished, but like regretful, sort of, that I didn't allow myself to try, at least, to focus on my passion, to be creative, to do what I love. I think that's a very important thing. A lot of people should try to follow your dreams, no matter how hard it may seem. I am a perfectionist. I know how that feels. You just have to take that sort of mindset out of your head like it's impossible. No, it's possible and you can do it. Number 20, stay present. I think that's a very good lesson for a lot of people to learn. I talked about this a little bit before, that I was never truly present when I was a kid. I was always like making a fantasy world in my head or thinking about the future. So I never really took the time to sort of like take in the fact that I am a kid. This is what I'm doing. I love to play, like that kind of stuff. Just like take in the moment. And I think that's something everyone should learn to do, to just stay present every once in a while and just be like, I'm never going to get this moment back. I'm never going to be 22 again. This is like my chance, And I think if I don't stay present in these years of my life, especially with everything happening in the world, I'm going to feel like bad. Just like the same way I feel about like my childhood years. Like I wish I had really taken the time to absorb the time of being a kid, not having any responsibilities at all. How easy it was to make friends, to go to school and not have to worry about like studying and not have to worry about your future at all or making money. But yeah, I'm going to stay more present this year, of course. And I have been pretty present these past years, which is why they feel very long for me. Number 21, take time to notice what you love about your life, which has to do with staying present, Because a lot of us get into this trap of like constantly complaining and wishing that your life was something else, that everything was better, that you're just like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. You're complaining, and that's fine. A lot of people do it. But it's also important to take some time to realize like what you actually love about your life right now. Personally, I love that I'm young. That's cool. I love being young. I love that I just moved to a new country. And not a lot of people have the courage or the money or the ability to move to a whole different country. I'm grateful that I have my family, that my brother is pursuing his dreams. There's so many things that I actually really love about my life that I want to focus on more than the stuff that I don't like, that I want to change, That has to do with manifestation too. If you focus too much on the things you don't like, you're just going to bring more. If you believe in this reality that you're living in so much that you're giving it so much attention, you're reinforcing that belief within yourself that this is real and this has the ability to affect you. So then it'll never change. It'll just bring more of that. So it's important to notice what you actually love about your life and indulge in some scripting or visualizing or meditating upon a life that you really love too. That incorporates all the things that you love about the life you're living right now, so that in the future you may live that life that you want. I'll do a manifestation video in the future so that you can really know how to do this. But yeah, take time to notice what you love and who you love in your life. And if you don't have anyone you love yourself. And 22, finally, my age. You don't need to know everything or have everything figured out right now. I sort of talked about this in my I have time point. It's been something that has been on my mind for a long time recently because I have no idea what I want to do. Well, I have a little bit of an idea now, but it it just feels like there's too many empty holes. I don't know where I want to live. I don't know what I want to do. Who am I going to meet? What kind of friends am I going to have? You know, it's a lot to think about. So, I like to remind myself I have time and I don't need to have everything figured out right now. Most people don't have everything figured out. Even if they seem like they do, they kind of don't still. So, yeah, that was this video. My birthday is on September 27th, and I hope that I can look back on this in a few years or next year, you know. It'll be funny to see what things that I said I don't believe in the future or that have changed and evolved for me. Hopefully I'll be able to do this every year so that you can see me grow up. I mean, I'm already an adult right now, so those things I've learned are also some goals for the future, you know. I want to stay more present. I want to not let my anxiety get the best of me, which I'm already really working hard on right now, and I'm doing well, I think. I don't know, I want to get better at manifestation. I want to learn more about what I love. Yeah, just want to continue just being myself, being happy, living my life, going with the flow. I don't have any crazy goals because I'm not that kind of person, like the hustle culture kind of person. I'm more chill. I like to have goals for myself, but they're not so rigid that I would sacrifice my mental health for them. So yeah, I hope in the next year some things change. I get better at, you know, dealing with my mental health. Hopefully I have new friends because I moved to a new country, so I need new friends. Yeah, it'll be funny to see me at 23. Ooh. Yeah. Happy birthday to me. See you next time.